It's the amazing Rico Brogna podcast with your host, Evan Roberts.
All right, my fellow Met fans, we have to say something all together in this very special Rico Brogna therapy edition. And that is the first thing we need to do is that acceptance that we completely suck. All right, that's the first thing we need to do. We just need to accept it. It's Memorial Day weekend. The Mets came home for a Big Ten game homestand, and they have decided to kick us in the balls in every way imaginable. So I've done my part. If anybody is watching this on the YouTube, you see I look very, very different because the beard is gone. The hair is gone. And I was hoping that maybe one little bit of superstition would save this horrific, horrific season. And it was like a bad joke on Friday night. Friday night was like the worst possible joke someone could play on us as Met fans. A game that is in hand. I mean, it's in freaking hand when you're up 6-2 in the eighth inning. I don't care how many great comebacks the San Francisco Giants have had. You're up 6-2 in the freaking eighth inning after Christian Scott gives you 6 solid, after Edwin Diaz survives his 7th inning, and after the Mets give you a little power display. Mark Vientos goes deep. J.D. Martinez hits a ball that still hasn't landed. Pete Alonso goes deep. I mean, this was the definition on Friday night of a feel-good moment. Of, all right, not that we're back, but we came home taking on the San Francisco Giants. The schmuck on WF fan shaved his beard. All right, we're going to get ourselves a victory. And then Reed Garrett, and this is like not, maybe it is ironic, Reed Garrett, who I sort of resembled when I had the beard, decided to just absolutely dump in the pants. And you know what sucked about Reed Garrett's performance? The first 2 base runners were luck. It was luck. It wasn't like Reed Garrett was giving up line drives all over the place. But Carlos Mendoza needed to see. He needed to see what we all saw, which is after Reed Garrett puts the first 2 guys on base, and now he's slowly showing a sign of getting out of this thing. He got a little foul pop-up, or not a foul pop-up, but a pop-up. He got a ground out, and now he's an out away from getting through this. When he gives up a double, maybe the warning sign should be up. When he gives up a walk, maybe the warning sign should be up. When Patrick Bailey comes to the plate with the bases loaded, maybe, just maybe, since you have a feel for the game, Mendy, you realize, I don't think Reed Garrett has it. He's thrown a lot of pitches. He's now put 2 consecutive guys on base. Maybe this is not ideal for Reed Garrett. And instead, he gives up that grand slam. And I'm telling you, man, as I watched him give up that grand slam, and I was very delayed on DVR, but as I'm watching it, I started laughing. I did. That was the emotion I had. I started laughing. And that's an emotion I had a lot so far this weekend. When Edwin Diaz comes in on Saturday afternoon to save a 1-run lead, in which maybe I'm crazy for saying this. Did we really think Edwin Diaz was rehabbed off one subpar relief performance? Like, you pulled the guy out of the closer's role. He's already told you he's mentally beat. He gives you one performance 24 hours earlier in which he was lucky. I mean, let's be honest about that. Jorge Soler just missed hitting a home run off Edwin Diaz. So when Edwin Diaz came in, he was about to take a 6-2 game at the time, or maybe it was 5-2 at the time. It was 5-2 because it was before Alonso hit the home run. He was about to take a 5-2 game and make it 5-4. And he was lucky. So what the hell you saw in Edwin Diaz on Friday that made you think, you know what? Let me throw him into a 1-run lead in the 9th inning the following day when he's clearly still broken is beyond me. But when Edwin Diaz gave up the game-tying RBI single to Lamont Wade, same emotion. I started laughing. So Met fans, maybe what we should do, as we are involved in a therapy session right now, 2 losses to the San Francisco Giants. This team has lost 5 in a row. the list of horrible losses is now on a second page, and we're not even at Memorial Day, I think what we all need to do is laugh, because this is absurd. The way they're losing games now is absurd. If you just wanted to tell me they suck, and a lot of Met fans thought they were going to suck before the season, I understand that. Clearly, I'm on the wrong end of this thing. I had optimism. What a moron I was. But if they were just going to suck, I'd understand it. If they were just going to be bad, I'd understand it. They're not just bad right now. They are finding new creative ways to kick us in the balls on a daily basis to where it is comical. Like, I'm laughing. A 6-2 lead in the ninth inning with Reed Garrett, who had been so reliable all year, and Patrick Bailey's hitting a grand slam. And then the absurdity of it is what happened in the final inning and a half. They give up an insurance run, which you knew when Lopez gave up that run in the ninth inning. You knew they're going to lose and something weird is going to happen. Like, you knew that. We all knew that was going to happen. And so they put that rally together in the bottom of the ninth inning. DJ Stewart gets the leadoff double. Brett Beatty got robbed of a base hit, too. I thought they were going to get the first two guys on base. Lindor comes through with a base hit. They're putting the rally together. And then J.D. Martinez strikes out. That was the killer to me. You got bases loaded, one out. You're back in this game. You're down by a run. All you need is good contact to tie the game up. And if you tie that game up, even though we all feel sick about ever going to extra innings, and we certainly saw that on Saturday, if you ever tie that game up, there'd be that sigh of relief of, all right, the Mets came back 2 down in the ninth inning after blowing a 4-run lead in the eighth inning. So JD, and I know he had a home run in the fifth inning, but that's the story of this game. You can get big hits in the sixth and seventh inning, but where were you in the ninth inning? And you know who I'm talking about with that? I'm talking about Pete Alonso. Where the hell were you? Pete Alonso hits a home run in the seventh inning. Pete Alonso gets a base hit in the first inning. Pete Alonso's been red hot since they benched him a few weeks ago, and he should have grounded into a game-ending double play. Let's be honest. If Luciano doesn't kick that ball around, we're mother effing Pete Alonso. So J.D. Martinez, I know you hit a home run in the fifth inning. I know it was a bomb. That strikeout in the ninth inning was a killer. And then Mark Vientos. And look, Mark Vientos deserves to play every single day right now. He has earned that right to basically get at-bats every day. He gets ahead of the count. I'm thinking, just draw a walk, Mark. Just get that tying run home. I am begging at that point, and I'm hours behind on the game, so it's funny. So it's hours after it ended. I am begging Mark Vientos at 3-0. I'm saying, do not swing. Even 3-1. That's how much of a wimp I am. I'm like, don't even swing. Maybe Duvall's going to walk you. It's going to tie the game, and we go from there. When he swung and missed at the 3-1 pitch, I had envisions of him striking out. I think we all did. I love you, Mark. I had envisions of a 101-mile-per-hour fastball going right past him. When he hits that 3-2 topper, that little ground ball to third base, to me, it felt like it lasted an hour and a half. Everything about it. The slow roller, watching Vientos burn down the line, watching Matt Chapman charge in on that ball, watching Chapman barehand, watching that throw bounce, and then seeing, can Vientos beat it, and will the first baseman be able to come up clean with it? And you see him come up clean with it. You see the out call. And again, same reaction. I started laughing. I was like, you really? This is what we're doing now? So not only are they blowing a 4-run lead in the eighth inning with Reed Garrett, giving up a grand slam, not only are the Mets going to rally in the ninth inning and come up 1 run short after they give up an insurance run in the ninth inning when Yastrzemski hits a home run, but you're going to have this game end on that. On that. I mean, it was an utterly brilliant play by Matt Chapman. It was a great play by Lamont Wade for scooping it out. And it was just incredibly frustrating that Mark Vientos, who is slow as me, couldn't beat that ball out. Because I am just begging for a tie at that point. I am begging for a get this game to the 10th inning. I'll take my risk at that. And so pound for pound, when you factor in 4-run lead, when you factor in how good Scott was, when you factor in the Mets hitting 3 home runs, when you factor in giving up a freaking grand slam in the 8th inning, when you factor in the rally in the 9th inning, and for me personally, I may be the only one, when you factor in that I cut this freaking beard thinking, hoping, praying they'll get hot, that's the new worst loss of the season. Congratulations. We've had a lot of options, a lot of choices. I got a whole document of horrible kick yourself in the ball losses. But Friday night, to me, there's your new winner.
All right, Evan, I just, from experience, did you go to the game Friday night?
I did not go to the game Friday night. I came back from DJ's. We had our big kickoff the summer event. There was no way I was getting from DJ's in Belmar at 6:30 to a Met game 35 minutes later. So I was on advanced DVR, and I was not at the game Saturday. I will be there Sunday. I will be there Monday because I'm a schmuck.
Well, good. Then this is, I just want you to know that the good luck juju doesn't work until you step foot into the building. Last year, I shaved my head. The Mets lost that day, but I went the following game at home, and they went on like a nice 10-win streak, whatever it is. So that's when things are going to go full gear. So right now they're getting ready. You saw they were competitive in 2 games. Once you step foot, they're winning tomorrow. End the story.
Yeah. The Mets are winning. Hey, listen, at this point, I want them to win. I'm taking my youngest son on Sunday. I'm taking my oldest son on Monday. I want them to see victory, so trust me. And yes, like I always say, I hold out hope. It's a baseball season. Maybe we're going to laugh about how, hey, remember when they were 21-29? Remember when they sucked? Or 21-30? I apologize. I can't take a loss away. Remember when they were 21-30 and then all of a sudden they won 17 in a row? I always hold out hope for that, but I got to be honest with you. The Mets could win on Sunday. The Mets could win on Monday. The Mets could even win on Tuesday. They could put together a 3-game winning streak, which would include 2 wins against the Dodgers. I am not delusional enough to think it means anything right now, because I think most of us look at this team, look at the way they've been losing games, and say, we just suck. We just suck. And look, how about the fact that on Friday night, David Stearns decides, you know what? I'm going to go into the TV booth. I couldn't believe that. David Stearns is in the TV booth on Friday night, and I'm like, what is he going to say? Like, what is he going to tell us that's going to make us feel better? And essentially, he told us, well, we're in a lot of these games. Well, we're close. And by the way, yeah, the Mets are in a lot of these games. The Mets should have won the first 2 games of this Giants series. The Mets should have won a couple of games in Cleveland. Like, we all get that, but that's not a sign of a good team. That's not a sign of a team that's close. That's a sign of a team that finds ways to lose. That's a losing team. That's not a sign of, it's the cliche. It's the dopey baseball cliche. There's 50 games you're going to win. There's 50 games you're going to lose, and it's what you do with those 62. So if you want to believe that, the Mets are making dog crap out of the 62, because these games, these 2 games against the Giants, the games against Cleveland, they're losing all of the games that are supposed to be the 62 that decided. Oh, by the way, I'd even argue that Friday's game against the Giants and last Saturday's game against Miami is not in the 62. They're in the 50 you're supposed to win. When you have a 4-run lead in the 8th inning, when you have a 4-run lead in the 9th inning, those aren't, they can go either way. Those are games you're supposed to freaking win. So the Mets are not only losing the games in the middle, they're losing the games that they have. So that doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't make anybody feel better. It makes us feel worse. It's a reminder that even when they accidentally win a couple of games, which they're bound to do, because again, they'll win sometime, it will probably all end the same way we're watching. So for anyone out there, all the Ricos who said, I'm just waiting for Evan to finally admit they suck, you got me. It took until Memorial Day Friday and Memorial Day Saturday to just come clean with you that they're not good. Now, I'll still watch. I'll still hope there'll still be Ricos that you'll get to listen to. And who knows, maybe there'll be once or twice before this season is over where I talk myself into believing again. But how many times can they castrate you? Like, literally, that's a fair question. How many times can they cut your balls off before it's like, all right, I got to stop watching? And by the way, there's a lot of emails from people who claim to me, I'm done watching. I need a break from the Mets. And then their emails are talking about how painful Friday was. And it's like, I thought you were taking a break. You probably should have taken a freaking break. Ugh.
I want to say one thing, because you mentioned David Stearns. He got off very easy in that inning. They didn't have much time to talk to him, and most of the time he was in there, they were spending looking over Brandon Nimmo. Who got clocked in the face. Dude, I think he got concussed. Dude, he looked knocked out on his feet, and guess what? He attempted a stolen base and made it. He was definitely out of it.
So when Brandon first got hit, and it hit that little flap that hangs out, he looked like he was concussed. He was giving you all those kind of quarterback just got hit motions. But I think the way he ended up running the bases and the way he ended up staying in the game and the way he's clearly fine, or at least our perception is that he's fine, is that it may have just really surprised him. And it may have just been that 10 seconds of I lost my bearings. Like, I'll give you an example. I don't think I was concussed, but earlier on Saturday, I was pushing my youngest son on the swing, and he started falling off the swing. And I saw it happening in slow motion. And I don't mean to brag, but man, I ran over and I caught him. I caught him in midair, and I fell straight on my back, which is not ideal because I have a bad back. But quite frankly, I'm going to do anything to save my kid. Like, I don't care. So he freaked out. Spence did, cried a little bit. And I was like, dude, I caught you. What are you crying about? Like, he was a little scared. Took him about 12 seconds, and he was fine. And for me, I had lost my bearings for like a minute. Like, I was like, where am I? Oh, my God, what the hell just happened? I was never concussed. It was just such a shocking thing that I lost my bearings for a second. So I know that's not the same as Brandon Nimmo.
But yeah, just a little bit.
But what I mean, here's where it's similar. It's similar in terms of losing your bearings. Now, if it comes out in a week or a couple of days that he has a concussion, we all remember the Anthony Rizzo situation with the Yankees, then it will look very, very bad. And it's scary. Head injuries can be very, very scary. But the early returns, especially since Nimmo stayed in the game, he ended up playing on Saturday, even though he played like crap. I mean, he did get the golden sombrero. So maybe that is the argument. But you bring something up, and I do not understand this. So the Mets made the lineup change a little less than a week ago. We're all good with it. You got to try something. And Brandon Nimmo is now running more while batting third. Like, what are we doing? It's the opposite of the Volpe thing I heard. I don't know if you guys caught this because maybe you try to ignore the Yankees. But on the Yankee broadcast about 4 days ago, a comment was made by Michael Kay and Todd Frazier that they don't want Anthony Volpe running as much in the leadoff spot because Soto and Judge are behind him. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Volpe can steal bases, and you've got two guys who take a million pitches. They'll see a million pitches. So why wouldn't you want a guy in scoring position for Juan Soto and Aaron Judge? Obviously, if Anthony Volpe gets caught stealing a lot, it's not worth it. But if he's an efficient base stealer, which he's been in his major league career, that's the opposite of why I'd want Volpe leading off. This is the exact opposite. Like, I'm not saying Brandon Nimmo shouldn't run, but why wouldn't you run when you're the leadoff hitter and you're trying to get in scoring position for your two best RBI guys, or in theory, your two best RBI guys? It just doesn't make any sense. And if the thinking is, well, I don't want to run because those are my better hitters, like, we have completely perverted stolen bases. Like, you're running to get in scoring position for your best hitters. Like, I don't understand the logic. Now, I'm not mad because, look, if Brandon Nimmo's going to steal bases in front of J.D. Martinez and Starling Marte, it's better than nothing. But the logic it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And listen, the only thing I can think of is Lindor is someone who does his best work swinging at first pitches. If you look at his totals over his entire career, swing at the first pitch, his batting average or just his rate of getting on base is much higher than getting deeper into account. So maybe that's where it is. Maybe Lindor now be a leadoff. Nimmo doesn't have to worry about giving Lindor that opportunity to swing at first pitch. Maybe that helps out. But I don't know. What the hell were they doing? Move Lindor in the lineup until like sixth. You know, if Nimmo's on base, he should be running.
As part of our therapy session today, let's hear from other people that are effed up, just like all of us. I've got just a cavalcade of angry emails. We'll start with Aaron Miller, who writes, Aaron, simple question. Well, he didn't say Aaron. That's his name. He said, simple question. What else can you shave? Beard apparently not enough, according to Reed Garrett. Aaron, I can't shave much else, all right, because my wife's the boss. So the beard is gone, thank God. The hair got cut a little bit. I look like a different human being. I got to tell you, I was so tired last night on Friday night when I got home, and I was so distraught by the Mets that it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I went to the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth, and it was really my first chance to look in the mirror, right? Because how often throughout the day are you looking in the mirror? And I'm going to admit something, because this is a therapy session, right? So no one's going to make fun of me. Like, this is all just, hey, we're pals hanging out. We're all therapying together. So I look in the mirror. It's after 1 o'clock in the morning. I am emotionally drained. So I got the emotional drainage. I got the physical drainage. And I got the Mets sucking. And my whole family's asleep. And I really haven't had a look at my face yet. And I went to brush my teeth. And I looked in the mirror. And I started crying. I'm not kidding you. I started crying. It wasn't a bowling of cries. But it was like, who is that person in the bed? What happened to me? So it's kind of like the end of the first season Lost. When those two characters were like, we need to get back. We need to get back to the island. I think on Friday night, I had this emotion of I need my beard back. That is true. Let's hear from Aiden. Aiden writes, the starter pitches well. The bullpen pitches well. They can't hit. They hit. The bullpen pitches well. The starter sucks. They hit. The starter is good. And the bullpen can't hold it down. Just how it goes for bad teams. I'll keep listening as we go through this abysmal season together. After all, misery loves company. That is true what's happened the last couple of days. Take a look at every game. It's like, let's find a new way to lose. We're going to give you a new creative way to lose. And how about this aspect of the first two games of the Giants series? The Giants have been trying to lose. You got Luciano, whatever his name is, making two blunders in back-to-back games to try to help the Mets. And that wasn't the only one he made. He actually made one before he even got here. But he kicks the Alonso double play on Friday. Mets can't take advantage of it. He makes another error in the ninth inning when the Mets are trying to walk off the Giants after Diaz blow it, when he just flat out misses a throw from Thairo Estrada. And again, the Mets can't do anything about it. And by the way, let me bring that up, because now I'm going scorched earth on everybody. Everybody sucks, all right? No one is safe now, okay? Nobody. Francisco Lindor is starting to show a pulse. That's great. That's fantastic. I'm so glad that Francisco Lindor has decided to hit just a tiny little bit as we approach Memorial Day. In the ninth inning, after that error, and you come up with 2 on and 1 out, end the game. End it. Base hit to center field. Game's over. Base hit to right field. Game's over. And he swings at the first pitch and hits just a lazy ground ball to first base or to second base, wherever it was. Pete Alonso, my guy Pete. Oh, I cut my beard. Oh, Pete, you're sad. Hey, you cut your beard about a month ago. It got you going. Pete Alonso, who had a very quiet Saturday after he hits that home run on Friday, you got a chance to end the game. And he hits one to left field. Actually hit the ball well, but he just missed it. So the two best hitters in the ninth inning came up after Luciano is again trying to hand the Mets the game. So my point is, not only are the Mets finding new ways to lose, their opponent was actually trying to help them. And it didn't work out. Clayton Caldwell writes, ninth inning pinch hitting decisions. Why did Mendoza, this is Friday night's game. Let's be specific with the collapses. Friday night, why did he pinch hit for Bader? I didn't mind using DJ Stewart, but use him for Nito. Beatty has to hit for Nito now. Really very odd decision. All right, so let's think this through. Ninth inning of this Met game, you've got Harrison Bader leading off. You've got Tomas Nito batting second. You have both DJ Stewart and Brett Beatty off the bench. You're emptying your bench. So I disagree here with Clayton. Like, I got no problem with that. Doval is very, very tough. I think he's tougher on righties. I have to confirm with the splits, but I'm pretty sure he is. I know that despite Tomas Nito being a representable catcher for the Mets during this time, though we do miss Francisco Alvarez, you're clearly going to pinch hit for him. And I got no problem pinch hitting for Bader. So I disagree with you. I like what Mendy did in that ninth inning. And look, it almost worked because not only does DJ come through with the double, Brett Beatty hit one and he got robbed by Tyro Estrada. So I'll disagree with you on that one, Clayton. I think that you empty your bench at that point. That's exactly what he did. Allison Kane writes, I'm sorry, Pete, you had something to add? Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to go back to a couple emails earlier. Someone asked you if there's something else you could shave. You said nothing. I disagree. You have Dudley. You should just shave Dudley. I think that is what's missing.
I should shave my dog.
Yes.
I should shave my freaking dog.
Yes. That's the answer we've been waiting. Bark at the Park, part 2. Bring Dudley there, shave him. Let's go.
So when me and my wife started dating, trust me, this story will make sense. It's going to come down to why Dudley should have no involvement with the Mets. I love Dud. Dud has been around through everything. I mean, I've known Dudley longer than I know my wife. I adopted Dudley in 2012. All right. So he has been in the Roberts family for a long time. But when I started dating my wife and she was my girlfriend, I used to make a lot of lame jokes. I still do. You know, I had to convince her that besides this average looking guy, there's a guy with a great sense of humor. And Dudley used to cop a feel all the time. I mean, Dudley did not care. All right. First time I had my wife over my apartment, Dudley went right in there. He didn't give a crap. He's put the paws all over. And I was like, Dud, what are you doing? And one of the first times we were together, we were at a Mets-Phillies game. And I said to her, hey, this guy up for the Phillies? Dudley's favorite player. And she thought about it for a second and was like, oh, I get it. That's so funny. And you know who that player was?
I think, was it Jason Worth?
No, the player on the Philadelphia Phillies that I would joke. And it became a joke for a long time. Every time this guy would show up, it would be, hey, it's Dudley's favorite player. That guy's name was Darren Ruff.
Oh, stupid.
Lame joke. I warned you. And so when the Mets acquired Darren Ruff 2 years ago, rare baseball player my wife knew from the lame joke. And I was like, hey, Dudley's favorite player's here. And of course, my kids would say, is that really Dudley's favorite player? And I'm like, his last name is Ruff. So because of Dudley's connection to Darren Ruff, I would tell you that I don't think Dudley being shaven would give us any new luck.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So there you go. You got to learn. You've learned a lot about me on today's Rico. You learned that I cried into a mirror on Friday night because I started to miss my beard and didn't know who I was. And you also learned that one of the ways I courted my wife was by making dad jokes about how Darren Ruff was Dudley, my dog's favorite baseball player. Anyhow, let's hear from our friend Allison Kane. Allison writes, I'm so disgusted. I think Allison was one of those Met fans who said that she was going to stop watching. Well, she was watching, and that was a bad decision. Allison writes, Dear Evan, I didn't hear every single of the first Giants game, but I heard enough to know that the Giants practically, maybe she wasn't watching. Okay. But I heard enough to know that the Giants practically handed the game to the Mets with errors. But no, we lost anyway. I don't know who to blame, but I'm getting so angry and depressed about this season that I may truly start listening to the Yankees instead. At least they know how to put together a winning team. Never thought I'd say this ever. I can't watch these games because of poor vision, hence I listen on the radio. Well, Allison, while the Yankee radio announcers are fantastic, Emmanuel Barbari has done a great job. Justin Shackle, very good job. I'm excited to hear Ricky Ricardo. Come on. You're a Met fan. Come on, what are we doing here? Yankees. What's going on here? Alex Berrios writes, Evan and Hoff, great show today. Love the antics. I think he's talking about the dopey radio show we did. But like I said in the previous email, blow it up. It's pathetic. They're finding new ways to lose. Okay, blow it up, people. Can I have a conversation with the blow it up people here in our therapy session? It is May. Okay? It is May. In a couple of days, it will be June. A month after that, it will be July. In July, assuming this season continues the way we all think it's going, the Mets will make significant trades. They should have pieces that other teams will find interesting. But blow it up is now something that we say, we put it in the atmosphere. I've said it before too, and it doesn't have any meaning. So what I want to do from now on here on the Rico and even on WFAN is just be specific. Be specific. Who do you want traded and for what? Because we will get there. I mean, we aren't that far away from July 1st. And July 1st is usually, to me, where the trade season starts to at least be talked about, and then trades are made. And then there's another thing called the offseason. And in the offseason, there's a lot more wiggle room to make even more trades because then anybody can be traded, right? And then you're adding free agents, and then you're adding potential talent. So there are two layers to the blow it up. And I just think we need to be specific. So should they trade everybody who's a free agent going into this offseason? Should they listen on everybody who's a free agent going into this offseason? Absolutely. They should listen on everybody. They've got a lot of guys. Luis Severino, Adam Ottavino, Sean Manaea. Got a lot of guys. Yes, Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso's a little different. We'll get into it as the days and weeks go by. But blow it up is like the phrase that people didn't like I used when I said back of baseball card because everyone uses it. What does it mean? I explained myself, but I said, all right, I'll stop using back of the baseball card. Let's just stop using blow it up. Let's just talk specifics. If you want to say they should dump Pete Alonso, and I don't care what they get back, then say it. If you think they should trade every single person who's got 1 year left on their deal, then say it. And if you want to be specific, be specific. But I don't like the phrase blow it up anymore because I don't know what it means.
Well, I'll tell you what it means. It means that everyone must go and we need to bring in a bunch of new people. And that's basically what everyone is saying when they say it. Mean that. I don't think there's one person that is like, oh, this guy needs to stay, like Lindor needs to stay, or Alonso needs to stay, or Nimmo needs, like even me. I can make a case that everyone could be gone or everyone could stay and we could be built around anybody.
Here's what I would say to that. Yes, I agree with you. All right. There is nobody on this baseball team, nobody where I'd say I can't trade them. Nobody. But now let's move to that second layer. And that is realistically, what are you getting for every single player on this roster? And that's the next discussion. So we're going to talk a lot about Pete Alonso. That's going to be a very popular name, and rightfully so, right? He's a free agent at the end of the season. So that's more immediate than anybody else. One of my arguments that I will probably make for the next couple of weeks, and if I'm proven wrong, I'll be wrong. I've been wrong a lot this season, right? I thought this Met team would be good. And as we sit here a couple of days before Memorial Day, they suck, which we've all accepted. I don't think they are going to get a great package for Pete Alonso. I don't. And because of that, a part of me leans towards I'd rather keep him, go in a free agency, make that decision on signing him or not signing him. And if I don't sign him, I get a draft pick in which I can use it to draft whomever. Look, we know that when they lost Mike Hampton, it turned into David Wright. Now, I want to be fair about that. When they lost Jose Reyes, it turned into Kevin Plawecki. So it doesn't always turn into something amazing. But I think the package back for Alonso is going to be so crappy that I lean towards I'm not going to trade him, especially because I think trading him means you go from 70% chance of re-signing him to 5% chance. Because I do think that humans exist in sports, and trading somebody is not just, don't worry, we'll re-sign you at the end of the year. So unless I'm getting a big return, and look, maybe this is new. Am I open to trading anybody on this roster for the right deal? Of course. In the right deal, of course. But now we have to move to, well, realistically, what's out there? Realistically, what are we talking about? And that's where things get complicated. Now, there are other players on this roster where the return may not matter as much. You know, Luis Severino has had a nice season so far. And by the way, let me, on that note, give Mendy credit. I love the fact that he let Severino stay in this game. Remember, Luis Severino was about to be pulled in the 7th inning after he walked Ramos. And Mendoza went out, 102 pitches, had a conversation. As the second time we saw him do this, he left a guy in. He trusted a guy, and he let Severino in, and he got a big pop-up of Kirk Casale, and he got through the inning. But Luis Severino being traded at the deadline, and what the return is, you just get the best you can, but you're going to trade him. Like, that I agree with, because I even said upon signing Sevy, who I was very high on signing, this guy could have the greatest year in the world. I'm not giving him 5 years, $100 million just because he has one great year, which is very common amongst pitchers now. They have one good year, they get a massive contract. So that's different. So we need to be specific on these discussions. Trade Pete Alonso is a nice headline, but now you got to talk about what's worth trading him for. Like that matters. When we talk about trading players, it depends what you're getting back. So if I'm right that the return is going to be really crappy for Pete Alonso, really? You just want to dump him for the 5th best prospect in the Cubs organization? Like, literally, that's what we're good with. That people would just say, great, that's enough for me. I disagree with that.
I agree with you. I would not just go trade him for anything. And obviously, I just think that a lot of people, though, that's what they want. They don't want, they're sick and tired of this team. They're sick and tired of the disappointment. So they think there's frustration. I agree. But I do want to try something different if he's there. If Howard is there, I see him, I see a background. I think he left his phone. So, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to do that. I'll wait for him to pick up his phone because I see his backdrop now, and he walked away as we were going to him. Let's go to a voicemail real quick. Is that cool?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, I'm numb. Is it sick to be this numb over a team that was 21 and 28 going in after a loss like this? What the hell's wrong with me that I care this much about this team? You know, today I was at a restaurant picking up food. I saw a Cubs fan, an old man. He had to be in his 80s, sitting there with a Cubs hat. And I thought, man, that 2016 must have been so fucking awesome for that guy. But he probably waited 75 years for it. And then I thought about it and said, damn, I hope I don't wait 75 years for a World Series. But tonight, reassured, I'm probably going to be waiting 75 years for a fucking World Series. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think we're going to be waiting 75 years for World Series. I mean, it's tough for me to say, oh, no, don't worry, we'll be fine. Don't worry. Steve Cohen will lead us to the promised land. I mean, right now, this is the depths of baseball hell. That's what it is. And I'll tell you why it's the depths of baseball hell. I want to be specific about that. Because we as Met fans, we've seen good stuff. Like, it's a misnomer to say we're always miserable. Like, we saw the Mets go to a World Series in 2015. We saw the New York Mets win over 100 games in 2022. But let me tell you about the life cycle and why I think it's going to look like 90 years before we win. We sucked for a long time, We finally put something together, and usually it lasts briefly. And you have that moment and you have that opportunity, and whether it's in the World Series or it's in the wild card round, it ends. And we think, yeah, but we'll be good. We'll come back. And then we fall off the map. I mean, think about the last 30 years if you're a New York Met fan, okay? They give you that cute run in 99, 2000, and then look what happened. It fell apart so quickly. They had to rebuild. They had to change managers. Then they pick it back up in 2006. They're the best team in the National League. Okay, we're back. Los Mets. They lose in a heartbreaking fashion. And then look what happens. Collapse in 07. Collapse in 08. Suck in 09. Bad in 010. All right, this sucks. Let's rebuild the whole thing. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, we're back. Okay. It took a while, but look at all this great young pitching. And it comes together real quick, and we're in the World Series, and we blow it. We blow game 1, we blow game 4, we blow game 5. See you later. But don't worry. We have all this great pitching. We'll be back. We're sort of back in 2016, but that was a fallacy. And then suck in 17. Suck in 18. Decent in 19, but we go nowhere. Suck in that weird season of 2020. All right, let's start over. We got a brand new owner. We got Pete Alonso becoming a star. We trade for Francisco Lindor. We tease us for most of the year, fall apart. Have a great regular season in 2022. Win over 100 games. All right. We got the billionaire owner. He went out and signed Max Scherzer. Life is great. Season ends in a horrible way. And think about what's happened since. Think about that. It is like the continuing life cycle of the New York Mets. We get that 1 or 2 good years where we're good, where we're close, and then once we fail, we're bad forever. So I know this is irrational, but what do you want from me? It's Memorial Day weekend. The family's asleep. We just witnessed the New York Mets lose brutal game after brutal game after brutal game. And so it's tough to imagine the glory days again. So it's a very good voicemail. I mean, he sees a Cub fan and says, man, that must have felt good. All right, Dan writes, Steve Cohen sucks at Twitter. All right, let's address this. For someone who's worth billions of dollars, he sure seems perplexed when the same thing keeps happening to his ball club year after year. But instead of doing anything about it, he's just going to tweet and publicly state he thinks this is a playoff team. It also makes me wonder if he really is this lifelong Mets fan, because he sends some mind-numbing, tone-deaf tweets sometimes that anyone who grew up and understands Mets life would never do. Well, if he was a lifelong Met fan, and I believe he was, but there's different kinds of Met fans. For example, there are Met fans, no offense to anybody watching on YouTube or downloading the Rico on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. There are Met fans like us who are spending time on a Saturday night talking about a 21-30 baseball team and bitching about it. And then there are a lot of Met fans that moved on with their day, who maybe even didn't watch on Saturday, who maybe don't even know half the guys on the roster. They're casual Met fans. And by the way, I don't look down on them. Like, we're all different. We all consume the team and consume sports in a very different way. Doesn't make anybody better than anybody. It just makes us different. We're very unique. So is it possible Steve Cohen was more of a casual Met fan as a lifelong Met fan? Sure. Like, I've always gotten that impression from Jerry Seinfeld. My dad and I have talked about this a lot. My dad is harsher. He says, Jerry Seinfeld's a fraud. I'm like, I don't think he's a fraud. I don't know if he's like living and dying on every game. Maybe he is. I have no idea, but I don't get the impression that he does. And that doesn't make him a fraud. It just makes him not sick. It actually makes him healthy, which is good. But as far as what Steve has tweeted, let's go over what Steve's tweeted. Why don't we? Let me pull up his little Twitter account. I actually tweeted at him the other day and said, hey, I cut my beard. What the hell are you going to do now? Steve Cohen writes, what a stretch. Mind-boggling. I know how disheartening this is for our fans. Thank you for caring so much. You know what I would say about that tweet, Pete? What the hell's the point? You know what are you doing? Thank you for caring so much. Like, shut up, dude. I mean, thank you for caring so much. We should write back. Thank you for charging us so much. Thank you for making it so expensive to go to Citi Field and watch this crap product.
Yeah, I just told him to sit this one out. Like, that's not the time to do it. I know that he got caught with his pants down a couple days ago with that other tweet that he had to delete, and it was supposed to be a private DM. But, like, here's the thing, Ev. I love Steve Cohen. I think he is going to change his franchise around. Obviously, it's not happening right now, but it is going to get better. He's making the area around Citi Field better. There's a lot of things. He's making the ballpark better. But the one thing, the team, the result is the same. Until that changes, he's got to lay out of these moments because we're just going to crush him.
Right.
He's going to look really bad. This is not the time to be like, hey, by the way, I got your back. No, you don't. You have no clue. Like you said about Jerry Seinfeld, he's in and he's out. I know he owns the team, but he doesn't feel it like you and I do.
The best one that he threw out there, and this one made me laugh, though I understand it, is he goes out on Friday afternoon. So homestand hasn't started yet. They haven't collapsed yet. And says, looking forward to our 10-game homestand starting tonight, LGM. Okay, all good so far. We are experimenting with our new artist series giveaway tomorrow. Enjoy the Joel Messler created tote bag. Feedback appreciated. So I'm very mixed about this one. Now, I think there's a lot of Met fans who are like, tone deaf, tone deaf, tone deaf. As a consumer, as somebody that literally, I'm not kidding you, decided to take my youngest to Sunday's game instead of Saturday's game, I would tell you is because of the giveaway. Sunday's giveaway it's a kitty giveaway. It's a Hello Kitty light up bobblehead.
Ooh.
Now, for a 3-year-old, badass, right? For a 3-year-old, pretty cool. A tote bag by an artist I've never heard of was not exactly moving the needle. So I admit that this stuff I find, I don't want to say interesting, but relatively important. Like, I can't go to every game the way I used to. I have to pick and choose my spots. I think a lot of people are like that. And sometimes you pick it based on the giveaway, especially when your family's involved. So I appreciate the owner saying, hey, I love your feedback on giveaways, because I give them feedback. Like, for example, Steve, I think it's ridiculous, and the Yankees do this too, so you're not alone. I don't want to say there's a Met problem. I think it's ridiculous to tell your consumers, hey, we're going to give you this gift for coming to a game, but you better get there early because we're only going to give away 18,000. Like, I find that insulting. And the excuse I've always heard, because I brought this up to the Mets a few times, is, well, the sponsor only makes 18,000. Well, then you know what you do? You tell the sponsor, if you want to sponsor a giveaway, you got to make 45,000. And if you don't like it, well, find another sponsor. So I always hate that because it's unfair to people. It's unfair to people to say, hey, you want that cool giveaway that you bought tickets for? Please, with young children, show up 2 hours early and wait on a crazy line. And then maybe, depending on how many we gave that gate, maybe you'll get the giveaway. So, long-winded way of saying, I appreciate Steve Cohen wanting feedback, because trust me, Steve, I got a lot of feedback for you. And it's not just the roster, because you can get that on Twitter. And it's not just the wins and losses. You can get that on Twitter too. It's, as a consumer, what you do badly. I can tell you. And I'm only one guy, but I can speak for a few people. So I like that. The problem is, when you're on social media, 97% of the people can say, you want feedback? I'll give you feedback. Your bullpen sucks. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Thank you.
Would you like to hear another voicemail?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's see if this one's good.
Good evening. My name is Joe. I live in Las Vegas, and I found an email today that Timmy Trumpet is going to be playing in Vegas here over the next week. And I'm so tempted to go out and see him and to tell him, thanks a lot for screwing up Edwin Diaz. Because Edwin Diaz had no problems up until Timmy Trumpet decided to say he was going to play live at the World Series when the Mets made the World Series in 2022. Well, fast forward to 2024, the Mets never saw the World Series. They haven't even sniffed the playoffs, and they're not even sniffing 500. So let me know if you want me to go out there and tell him off or punch him in the nose. Either way, I got no problem with it. You guys take care.
Well, first of all, I would say do not punch Timmy Trumpet in the nose. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. But if you want to tell him off and tell him how much Edwin Diaz sucks now, that is totally fine. That makes me laugh. Speaking of Edwin Diaz, Ralph Brilliant writes, the Mets are mired in an infection of losing. With a one-run lead in the ninth inning, was it too soon to give Edwin Diaz a shot to close? Of course it was. In the 10th inning, after they go down 3-2, was Lindor able to turn a double play that could have gave them a shot in the bottom of the 10th? Of course not. And with the Giants up by 2 in the 10th, were they able to at least get to the bottom of the inning with the tying batter at the plate? Of course not. Literally can't stomach this shit anymore. I have chronic acid reflux, and they're making it worse. So a lot there. The Lindor double play, we got to be fair about this. If we're being fair. First of all, Mets are down by a run because Brett Wisely got a base hit like immediately off Sean Reed Foley, was behind in the count, got it anyway. And after Luis Matos singled, and they had first and second and nobody out, Tyro Estrada hit a ground ball to Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso made a garbage throw to second base. We have to call it like it is. It was a bad throw to second base. Now, what bothers me, besides the fact that it was a bad throw, is that those who continue to say Pete Alonso sucks defensively will cite that play as, see, he sucks defensively. I still think Pete is much maligned defensively. I think he's a lot better defensively than people give him credit for. But that was a horrific throw. Okay. With that said, Francisco Lindor also pulled his glove back way too quick and could have made the catch. And despite the bad throw that cost them any opportunity to turn a double play, they could have at least gotten a force out, which was significant because it would have been the first out. And if you play the inning out, and I know you can't, but you do that when it comes to earned and unearned runs, no other run would have scored. So the Mets would have technically, if you believe in that fallacy, I don't, but I'm making the point of how important that out was, the Mets could have gone to the bottom of the 10th down by a run. Would it have mattered? No, because they suck. And they wouldn't have scored a run anyway. Nimmo would have struck out anyway. J.D. Martinez would have struck out anyway. But if we want to identify that play in the 10th inning, we have to identify it fairly. Both players, the two best players on this team, supposedly, Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor, they can share in the crapness of that play. Horrible throw by Pete. Lindor could have still made the catch and at least gotten an out. As far as Diaz is concerned, he should have not closed this game. I'm sorry, he shouldn't have. Now, if your question is, okay, well, what would you have done? What I probably would have done was use Diaz in the 8th inning. I think I would have. And look, if Edwin Diaz blows it in the 8th inning, I mean, we would still be saying the same stuff, but I think the 9th inning he needed to stay away from. And the truth is, maybe I wouldn't have even used Diaz in the 8th inning. I probably would have used Sean Reed Foley. I would have done something different. I don't think Edwin Diaz's inning on Friday was enough for me to say he's back. Let's throw him back into a one-run spot in a closing situation on Saturday. It was way too soon. If you were going to take the closer's job away from him, which the Mets didn't make any sense to me.
No, I don't disagree, but the thing is, Friday I thought he did well enough. He hit 99 on the radar, which is nice. And even Saturday, like, it wasn't a horrible performance. He did get. I mean, Wilmer Flores is now 4 for 4 against him. So, like,
it is a horrible performance. The first pitch he throws ripped for a base hit. Then he doesn't even look at the base runner and he steals second base. I mean, come on, dude, it sucked.
That's fine, but Wilmer Flores is literally like, he can't not get a hit off of Edwin Diaz. He is perfect against him. It's just what he does. So, like, Wilmer Flores knows the MO of Edwin Diaz. But besides that, like, listen, dude, he's still hitting that. He's getting the fastball up there. I'm not saying he should have closed out the game, but you got to give him a little bit more. I don't want to jump to the conclusion and say, oh, Edwin Diaz is done again because of this outing.
Listen. I'm just reacting to the way he pitched. You said something. It annoys me. I need to correct you. Okay. He faced 4 batters. Okay. He gave up 2 hits, and then Brett Beatty looked like Brooks Robinson making a diving play. So he got an out on a great throw by Starling Marte. He got an out on Brett Beatty looking like Brooks Robinson. And yes, he struck out Mike Yastrzemski. I could argue he faced 4 batters. 3 of them basically got hits against him. That's not a good performance. Now, was it an ultimate meltdown because he didn't give up back-to-back-to-back home runs? Sure. But that's not good. And so I'm not putting him on the fake injured list, but he's not back. Like, he's not even close to being back. He blew another freaking game, and it wasn't bad luck. It was him being bad. That's what happened.
Well, I don't think he's done. Whether he's back or not, we'll debate that. Can we just ask? I have to ask a question. We haven't touched on it yet. Did you notice on Friday's game the Lindor specs, the clear specs that he was rocking?
Yes.
Today he went back to the shades. Is there an eye issue? And listen, we saw it in Saturday's game where he said he couldn't see the spin of the baseball. Is there an issue with Lindor and his vision? Yeah,
this is the first time I was thinking that, because I never saw what he had on Friday, and then the take on Saturday was, I mean, that's something you never see. So for those who missed it, Lindor was up, and it was with a runner on second and 1 out in the 7th inning when they had a chance to get some insurance. They brought in this Randy Rodriguez, and Lindor watched Rodriguez never throw a strike. Like, Rodriguez fell behind him, and then Lindor swung at 2 sliders that were not very close. So on 3-2, Lindor didn't just go down looking on a pitch right down the middle. He was taking all the way. And it was obvious. It was obvious to the broadcast. It was obvious to all of us watching. And I was very interested to hear what he would say after the game. So when that game ended, I had no interest in hearing anything. That was the one thing I wanted to hear. And yeah, he said he could not see the spin on Rodriguez's slider. And he determined, this is his words, that he had a better opportunity of getting on base by just not swinging and assuming Rodriguez would throw another slider in the dirt than trying to hit a pitch he cannot see. Now, was that because of the time of day with the sun? Was that because of the uniqueness of Randy Rodriguez's slider? Or was that what you're bringing up, that he's having some vision issues? I don't know, but it was definitely alarming. It is alarming. I admit that. And especially for him to admit that after the game and say, I thought I had a better chance by not swinging. That's like something I would say when I'm playing baseball. Like, yeah, 3-2, I'm not swinging. I got a better chance of getting on base with a walk than I do swinging and making contact. That was very concerning. All right, final email, because this therapy session is going on way too long. I'm going to start charging extra. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are going to start charging extra. Paul writes, the team is unsalvageable. They don't play well together, whether it's pitching, hitting, or defense. There is no clear leader, and everyone seems to be rowing in their own direction to the point where they've become one of the most unlikable teams I've ever watched. Tell me again why they didn't trade for Juan Soto. Could really a player that is not only a leader but can extend the lineup. I can't pinpoint where they have gone wrong because on paper they shouldn't be this bad, but there is a clear disconnect. I never thought I'd be in a place where I'd be okay with trading Pete, but this team has broken me. I have no answers, and clearly neither does this front office. Just blow it up. This team from top to bottom isn't going anywhere. There's that blow it up line. Lastly, please stop wearing these awful City Connects. They are a guaranteed loss when they do, an atrocious one at that. Paul. Yes, that's the most important issue. The City Connects to me are not ugly, but they have never won a game with the City Connects. I mean, they are unbelievably bad when they wear these City Connects. We've had Luis Severino multiple times flirt with a no-hitter, including on Saturday in the City Connects, only for them to lose anyway. So I shaved a beard trying to turn the Mets season around. What the Mets need to do is burn the City Connects. I get they worked hard on it. I get they spent years on it. I get that. I guess that they want to sell a lot of them. But if you give a damn about this team winning, light them on fire. Now, what else did he say that I need to address? Yeah, the blow it up line. No, I'm mentioning that now. From here on forward, if you want to say blow it up in an email or calling us up on WFAN, just be specific. That's what I really mean. Be specific on what you want to get rid of, and then more importantly, how you want to get rid of them. That's the other thing. Because I'm open for business. I'm with you on that. I am open for business. But we need to be realistic about what you're getting back. And saying that you just don't want guys on your team is not the answer. It's, I don't want this guy on my team, but what can I get back to make this team better?
Like, can I make a suggestion? There's no more DFAing guys. Like Jeff McNeil, we're not going to DFA him. You want to know why? Because if we DFA him, the Braves will pick him up. We don't want that anymore. Joey Wendell, Zach Short.
What we need is Jeff McNeil to get hot, and then you trade his ass. That's really what it comes down to. Now, we will give you another Rico after this series is over. That's always a guarantee. Rico Brogna's after every single series, maybe delayed, because I'm taking my kid to the game. I don't know when we're going to record it, and we'll go live sometime Sunday night. But we will continue to give you Ricos throughout this horrific Mets season because it's bad. And I'd love to leave everybody with a parting message of hope. I'll give you hope. You ready for my hope? There's still 111 games left. And you never know. Maybe they'll be great. I can't even get through it. Maybe they'll get hot. They'll be great, those 111 games.
That's terrible. That's torture. What are you doing?
I know. That actually sounds worse. Baseball is a funny game. When you think you have it figured out, it slaps you across the face. That's the only hope we have. You can email the pod to ricob@gmail.com. We appreciate some of those funny voicemails. The number to voicemail us is, I don't even remember. What was it again? The voicemail number?
888-808-1019.
Yeah. I get that one remembered. What's the voicemail? 725-222-8699. There you go.
There you go.
725-222-8699. Thank you for downloading or watching on YouTube another edition of Rico Brogna.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Rico Brogna podcast. It's amazing, isn't it? Make sure you download it now to keep it on you at all times.